Hi everyone, welcome to this session about COLFUTURO. During this presentation, we are going to explain you how our financial scheme works and what would you need to do in order to apply and be selected by us. So to start, I will tell you a little bit about COLFUTURO. We are a private foundation that started its operation 25 years ago. And when we start, we receive donations from the public and from the private sector. At the beginning, we received 12 US millions of dollars, and now our network has been growing significantly, which has allowed us to support every year more Colombian students to go and study abroad. The idea of the people who give this money to COLFUTURO was to finance the best Colombian students to study master and doctoral degrees abroad in the best programs in their fields of study. So what we offer is a financial scheme that we name loan scholarship, because the students will get part of the money that we provide them as a loan. They will receive a part of that as a scholarship. So we finance, as I mentioned before, graduate programs, and we offer to the students a loan of $25,000 per year and up to 2 years. The amount of money that you will get from us depends on how long is going to be your program. So if your master degree is 1 year long, this means that we will only give you $25,000. And if your program is 2 years, we will provide you with 50,000 American dollars per year. So basically, if you are going to study a doctoral degree, you will need to get the extra funding from a different organization. Most of our students get the money from their programs when they work in their thesis. So while they work, the universities will pay them some money that will allow them to complete the program. This is a loan, as I mentioned before, and it has an interest rate that it's the 7% during the time the students are studying. So that means that when you are doing your master degree, you won't have to pay any money to COLFUTURO, but your money will be generating some interest rate. And after you complete the program, you can have 1 year as a grace period where you can work abroad doing an OPT. This means that while you are in the United States doing your OPT, you will be just enjoying this time without having to pay any money to COLFUTURO. Once the OPT is over, you have to return to Colombia. And if you return to the country, we will forgive you part of the money that we provide you as a loan. We will start to collect the money. You will have to start to pay. And during that time, the rate is going to be 9% per year. You will have 5 years to pay the loan. And if you don't return to Colombia and don't fulfill the requirements in order to receive the scholarship, you will have to pay a 50% interest rate over the money that we have provided you. So I have mentioned that part of the money that we give you is going to be forgiven, and that's what we call the scholarship. The scholarship will be 40% for all fields of study, except for MBA programs, masters in business or law, where the scholarship is going to be just the 20%. Sometimes people ask us why this different scholarship, and it's basically because we know that people that go to masters in law and business and MBAs will get better salaries when they return to Colombia. So the idea is that the people that will have less opportunities to get a good, repay a good money, a good salary when they return, will have a better scholarship. So that's the general scholarship for all the students who return to Colombia, who besides that remain in Colombia the double of the time that we had finance plus 1 year, and who, once they complete the program, gave us the certificate or the diploma of the program that they completed. So you have to fulfill those 3 requirements in order to receive this scholarship. But besides this scholarship, there are 2 additional bonuses. The first bonus is for those who work in the public sector, education, or as a research in an institution or a central research center. So the way you can get this bonus is that the first year that you work in one of these options, you will get 10%. If you work a second year, you will get an extra 5%. And if you work a third year, you will get an extra 5%. That's why we say it's 20%, because if you complete these 3 years, that's the number of the percentage that will add and will be forgiven. on your scholarship loan. The second bonus is for those who work, sorry, this one is repeated, so I'm going to skip this one. There is a second bonus for the people who return to Colombia and work in a city different than Bogota and the area metropolitana. So are all these small towns that are around Bogota, if you work in any other city or any other town, you will get an extra 20%. It will be the same way. So you will get a 10% for the first year, 5% for the second year, and 5% for the third year. That means that starting next year, the scholarship can be up to 80%. So just to give you an example, let's think in a person that studies a master's degree in engineering, return and work in Medellin, and besides that, work in the major of Medellin or AFID, any university in Medellin. That person will get 40% for have been studying a master in engineering, will get an extra 20% for working in a city different than Bogota, which is Medellin in this example, and the extra 20% will be for working in a university or in the public sector. So that's why we said that the scholarship can be up to 80% of the money that we have borrowed to you. So in order to get this financial help, you will need to go into a selection process where we will verify your academic excellence based in these four criteria: the GPA, the program that you are going to study, the student rank, and an essay that we will ask you to write. So I'm going to explain you briefly each of these criteria. The first one is the GPA you got in your undergraduate studies. So that's going to be 42% of the total grade that you will get. Then is the program. We will grade the program based on international rankings and also on the quality of the program. So we will go to the website of your program and see who are going to be your professors, which were the requirements you needed to fulfill in order to be admitted. Also, if it's an area related with research, we will go and see the labs, the relation that the program has with the industry. Also, we will check for the alumni profile. So we will look what the people who had studied that program is doing after they complete the program. And based on all that information, we will grade the program. That is the 38% of the total grade that you will get. Then is the student right, that is the 15%. This means the certificate that the university where you studied will provide us, telling us which one was your position during your undergraduate studies. For example, if you were the 5th student in a group of 20. We will convert that information into a grade, and that grade is going to be the 15%. But additionally to that, if that grade, when we convert the position into a grade, if that grade is lower than your GPA, we won't use that information, and what we will do is split that 15% and add 5% to each of the other three criteria. So for example, the GPA won't be 42, it's going to be 48, the program is going to be 43, and the essay is going to be 10%. The idea is that we can help the students when they don't have a very good position in the undergraduate program. So the last criteria is an essay. That essay is the 5%, and we will ask you to write about your academic performance, the reasons why you should choose that program that you are going to study now, and what are your plans once you complete the program and return to Colombia. So we will grade that, and after we have all the grades, we will add that, and we will organize 12 lists based on the program that you are going to study. We are going to divide the applications on fields of study. So for example, people who's going to study engineering, all of them are going to compete in a committee area that is going to be engineering. People who's going to study law, they will be competing in the law committee. And the idea there is that we can compare you with the same person, with the same people in the field of study. So we will invite external judges that will come and verify the work that COLFUTURO have done to grade the programs. And they will evaluate the grade that we provided in order to put a lower or a higher grade to that program if they consider that we didn't take into account, like an important aspect that maybe they will know because they are working all the time in that field of study. So once we have all these lists organized, we will select the students that are in the better positions. That means that if we have a list of 20 students and the current line is 12, the 12 students that are in the first positions are the ones that COLFUTURO is going to offer the financial support for their programs. We just have one call per year, and in 2017 our call will open in January and will close the last day of February. This means that during these 2 months you will need to send us the application. All the application is going to be online in our website, that is www.colfuturo.org, and you will find there the form that you need to fill out and also the list of the documents that you will need to provide us to complete into the selection process. Basically, we will ask you for the information about the program that you are going to study, your grades on your undergraduate studies, CV, like general information that you can check now in our website in order to have that prepared for the months of the selection process. Once we close the selection process in February, we will have 2 months to evaluate all the applications, and we will announce the results in the middle of May. Once we have done selection, it will be posted in our website, and each of the students that apply will receive an email from us explaining them why they were selected or why not, in order that you can understand the reason why maybe you were not selected. It's important to mention that you can apply to COLFUTURO how many times you want to do it. For example, if you apply next year and you are not selected, you can apply again in 2018. Because we have noticed that sometimes the students, when they check the reasons why we're not selected, they choose better programs, and in the second time they are selected by us. So just to give you an idea of the people that we have financed during all these 25 years, we start in 1992 with 46 students, and this year we selected 1,263 students. We know that each year the people that we offer the financial aid will quit to that financial support because they get scholarships from the universities or from other institutions such as Fulbright, or maybe financial support from the universities. So when we do the selection process, we already know that some of the students are going to say that they are not going to use the money, and we do this in order to have the opportunity to finance the students that our budget really allow us to finance each year. So these are the fields of studies that I mentioned before when I said that you will be competing in a group. Basically what we have done here is divide all the fields of study, and you will need to check, for example, if you are going to study environmental sciences, you will be competing in the agricultural science committee. Or if you are going to study mathematics, you will be competing in basic science. You see here that engineering and business have the highest numbers of people selected, and the reason is because those are the most demanded areas in COLFUTURO. So it's important that you know that if you are going to study a program in these two fields of study, you will be competing with a very high standard group with wonderful grades and great programs, and you will need to check how your program is in order to have a better option to be selected by us. If you compete in committees like education or economics, your options to be selected are going to be higher because you will be competing with less people, of course. And it's also important to mention that we don't have priority areas. You can apply to any program and any fields of study. And the good thing about that is that you will see that you will find many organizations that have some priority areas. In COLFUTURO, we are open to any fields of study, any program, because we know that a country needs not only engineers, but also artists people or people who study things related to education. So that's why we don't have priority areas. COLFUTURO finances programs in all countries, abroad in general. The most demanded country is the United States. We know that this is basically because of the quality that the universities in the US offer to the students, and also because there are good options there to get financial aid and support from the universities. It is very important that when you apply to your program, you ask at the beginning how you can compete in order to get this financial support. Most of the people will get like assistantships from their faculties, and the idea is that since the beginning you can ask how you can access to this kind of support. And just to finish, I would like to mention that 50% of the people that apply to COLFUTURO are selected. This means that for each 2 students that apply, one is going to be selected by us. Also, it's important to mention that the opportunities here are very high if you compete with a good program. I mean, if you are going to a good program, probably you are going to be selected by COLFUTURO. If you need any more information, you can contact us at any of this information in here. Our email is josoyfuturo@colfuturo.org. We will be happy to help you with the information that you need, because we know that the financial part is one of the most difficult parts when you are planning to study abroad. So we want to help you, and please feel free to contact us and let us know all your requirements or things that you need to do in order to apply. Thank you so much for joining us in this session, and we hope that you can make it and go to study soon to the United States.